Alright, so we're going to do the first assignment like it said. It's going to be the beginner assignment, 20 minutes. Remember to save the file project under unit-m1. The file under final exercise file, the name is going to be house-finish.max. So you're going to notice that the max files all end in a, if I do file save as, you're going to see they're called .max files. So a good habit to be when you guys are starting right away is save your first file in the correct location. In this case, under your class shared. Class shared, your student name, the current class folder, and so forth. And then you fill it in, and so forth. The little plus button here, that's going to be increment savings. What does that mean? So if we go back to the options, right? So let's go back to preferences. And I go to files. You see here, there's one called file handling, where it says here, backup on save, increment on save. I want you guys to click that on. Is that clear? Increment save you put on. Why? Because it's, every time you hit save, it's going to give you a backup of it. Is everybody clear on that? So to repeat how I got there. You go to file and you go to preferences. From the preference, you're going to go to, not general, to files. Under file handling, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different options here. The one we're looking for is the one called increment on save. You're going to click on that. So now every time you hit the save button on top, it's going to say, for example, house finish 01, 02, 03, 04, and so forth. And the last one before you give it to me, you call it house finish. You get rid of the extra numbers. Is that clear? So you hit OK. Now just go back to show you something else, preferences. You see here under general, the number of undos you can do is 20. You can make it bigger if you want, but after 20 you can't do undo anymore. What do you notice the difference between here and AutoCAD? Is AutoCAD you could have, as soon as you started, if you finished your project in the same day, you could undo every single step back to the beginning until you hit save open, then it's from that day. This one here, the max undos you can do is 20. If you want to do 40, do 40. There's no point of you doing such a big number because you don't need to do it. That's the whole point of the increment saves. You do something major, hit the save, the little plus. This way you have a backup of it as you're going along. Is that clear for everybody? Yes or no? Do we remember how to change the colors from dark to light? Under Customize, Custom UI and Default Switchers. And you can go from dark, press Set. It's going to load it. Press OK. If you want to make it back to light, you do back Customize, go back to light, and press OK. Good. Any questions so far? So when we start the file, the key thing to remember to do is always do file reset. Say yes. This way you know everything is correct. Now we could go check our units. Customize, unit setup. If you see here, it's set to generic. We're going to make sure for this assignment that it stays generic, meaning it's unit list. If I want to do metric, I would go click metric. US, US. But in the case for us, keep it as generic units. Is that clear? Meaning there's no inches, no feet, no meters, no centimeters, nothing. It's just units. We press OK. That's a key thing to always check when you start your project. Is you go, hit reset, check your units. Again, customize, unit setup, and you check to see what it is. See? 1 unit is equal to 1 inch, whatever the system setup is. But we're keeping as generic units. Everybody okay on that? Now we move on. So in this case here, it's asking us to open up a box. So we're going to go to our standard create button, and we're going to click on the box option. Is that clear? Now it happens to be that it wants us to drag and click in this case. So we go into the perspective view, which is already set up. and we're going to click and drag for the length and width. So you just click and drag and drag. We saw that? We did the length, the width, and then we did the height to release it. Any questions? Good. If you press J, you're going to notice you're going to turn off the selection bracket. See around the objects we have a little white border. If you press J, it turns it on and off. If you press F4, you have edges on, edges off. If I want to do shaded viewport, I go back over here to default shading, and I can choose clay option, like it's asking me to do. Is that clear so far? If I want to turn off the grid, I press the G button. And now you notice there's no grid on it. Any questions so far? If I press the Alt and the scroller on top of the mouse, I'm able to rotate the view. If I press Control Alt and the mouse, I'm able to zoom in, zoom out. Going up zooms in, going down zooms out. Using the Control Alt and the mouse scroll clicker on top. Is everybody okay so far? Yes or no? Good. Okay. Now that we have that settled, if I want to show the 4 views again, how do we do that again, guys? We do Alt W. Oops. Alt W, which maximizes to 4 views to 1 view. Is that clear? I could even do Shift Z, which undoes all the stuff, the zooms that we've been playing with. So it goes back to the same zooms that we had before. Shift Y is going to redo the scenes how we had it before. So this is when I rotated it. Control Z rotates it back and forth. If you click on a little view cube house, it brings back the view how you had it before. It restores it to the view. If I do Control P, it's going to pan the view. We see this? We're panning the view. If I do Control R, it's going to rotate the view. Orbit it, sorry. If I press Q, it deactivates it. Sorry? If I press Shift W, I'm going to get the pop-up of the steering wheel like we've seen before in AutoCAD, where I could center the object. I could look at the object. By clicking look, I could look at the object. I could orbit the object. I could zoom in by using up, zoom down. Press Escape to get out of the steering wheel effect like we've seen in AutoCAD. So we noticed that when we made the box, that it took right away a name called Box 001. Right over here. What we're going to do now is we're going to go click on it, like so, or click over here. And then we're going to go into the Move, Transform, Type In dialog box, which is over here, the Move button. And we're going to right click on it. And we're going to get the pop-up. We're going to go to the Absolute World one, like we said before. And we're going to set them all to 0, which is going to bring it back to the origin. Type in 0, 0, 0. And you're going to notice that it's going to move it back to the center of the location. The next thing we're going to do, once we moved it, while it's still selected, we're going to go to the Modify tab right next to it. And we're going to click to Perimeters. And we're going to adjust the length, the width, and the height. So the length is going to be set to 80. The width is going to be set to 50. And the height is going to be set to 70. Now that we have changed all the sizes of the box, the next thing you're going to do to zoom to the extents is Control Shift Z. Oops, make sure you click on it. Control Shift Z. And it's going to center it in all 4 viewports.
Now what are the parameters used?
Sorry?
What are the
So now that we have these beautiful views, click the house again, it's going to reset it. And again, the shortcut we did before was Control Shift Z. Good. If I want to take up the grids and all the views, I just hover my mouse over the view, G, G, G. If I want to zoom just in one view, instead of all of them, I just do Z, and it's only going to zoom in that one viewport. Is that clear? So Control Shift Z zooms all the viewports, but if I just zoom into this one, I do Z, it's going to do just that one viewport. Is that clear for everybody? For now, for those of you who lost this toolbar over here, don't freak out. If you click on this one over here, which is the name one, it's the same toolbar, just that it's floating around. Afterwards, I'll add it on for you guys. I'll show you guys that later on. So now that we have the boxes, let's go create a door for the house. So this is the little house we just built. Now let's create the door. So again, in the perspective view, we're going to do Alt-W. So we get a big one. And we're going to go choose another box option. So go back to the first, do the box. And now we're going to create another box in the perspective view. And we're going to choose the length, the width, and the height as 23, 6, 40. So we're going to go here. We're going to draw a box, like so. Bring it up, like so. Then we're going to go now, go back to this, click on box 2, the properties of that box, and we're going to change it again. The length is 23. The height is 6. The width is 6, my bad. And the height is 40. 40. 23, 6, 40. And make sure that the name is now called Box 002. Is that clear so far? From there,
23, 40 and 60?
23, 6, and 40. 23 length, 6 the height, 6 the width, 40 the height. Again, how do we do that? We went back to our perspective view. We went here to shapes, clicked on box. We just clicked and dragged. And then afterwards we went to the modify and we customized it in the toolbar. Any questions so far? So let's go on. Once we have that done, we're going to select box number 2. If you do not have this box, it's okay. Click here and search box 2. Press OK, and it's going to highlight box 2 for you. So now we have our box 1, our box 2. So again, by clicking on this, it automatically activates the boxes. Some of you may have 3, 4 boxes. You erase them and you could see which ones you have. Now that that's done, let's go select box number 2. And now we're going to use the move tool again. Now we're going to go type in, which one, guys? Over here, we're going to type in -25 minus 2.3 Z negative 0.03. And if you noticed, our door got pushed to the front of the house. Any questions so far? No. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 windows to this beautiful house. All right? We're going to go now and go back to where we were in the beginning. Go here, do a box. From the box, we're going to go use the spinner this time. We're going to go, keyboard do they want us to use? The value over here. We're going to go type in 23 for the length, 6 for the width, 18 for the height. Is that clear? And now what? We are going to... Nobody's answering me anymore? We're going to make sure we also have auto grid on the top. Some of you didn't do that probably. Click on auto grid before you accept anything. And now we're going to position the mouse near box number 1. And you're going to see the little axis tripod show up where you created. Click here. See? Oops, I lost it. Is it in there? No, I lost it. Let's do it again. Let's go back. Box. What are my lengths again, guys? 23, 6, 18. Okay. I make sure I have auto grid on. And now what do I do, guys? I click on the front face, correct? Am I doing this right, guys? Click. And now what? So what I want you guys to do when you're doing it, see the box? You're going to make sure you have auto grid on. And forget about this one. Open up the keyboard entry. Without using the X, Y, Z, you're going to go choose 23, 6, 18. Make sure this guy's selected. And now I press create. And you see the box is placed on the face of it. Do we see that, everybody? There's one box. So again, I'm going to undo that and I'm going to show you again. We go do box. We go do auto grid. Right over here it says auto grid. We scroll down. Keyboard entry. We type in 23, 6, 18. Before we draw it, we click on the cube once. Then we do create. And now we have box number 3. We're going to create 2 boxes. Press create again. Now we have 1, which is the house. 2, which is the door. 3 is window 1. 4 is window 2 on top of each other. Now we're going to use the... Everybody okay? Any questions so far? Now we're going to align it. We're going to move one box first, so you see there's 2 boxes. Why is my box invisible?
Because it's inside the house. Move it out.
Wait.
Just like the X's and
I did before, but I want to see here. If I go to this one and I pull it out. Okay, so now I pull them out of the box. Now we're going to use the align tool. Okay, so how do we use the align tool, guys? Down over,
top right corner. Yeah.
align. So now what we're going to do, we're going to align the windows to the top of the house, I guess.
No. On the face of.
Right here.
Yeah.
So let's do align. Select the windows. So now they're both selected. Click align. Now we're going to choose the face. And now we're going to do which settings? We're going to go use center. We're going to make sure we have the X position on. We're going to make sure the Y is okay. We're going to do center, center. And we should press apply. And it went inside the window. Is that what it wanted us to do?
Yeah, from there they just want us to move it.
And then from there, we're going to go and just move the boxes outward. How much? Wait, I think I confused. Okay. So now we're just going to pull it up by looking at it. So we'll just go from the top view is the best view, I guess. We're going to pull it out till we see it. like so. Let's separate them. We're just looking at by view for now. Then we're going to grab both and put them back up in the heights. Alright? Let me undo it. So let me undo the align. Let's go back a bit. So now they're inside on top of each other, right? They're behind the box. Let's make it bigger.
Bro, we are not used to supposed to use a line on the windows. The windows we are just to make them
The center.
Yeah.
Let's just show you. So you just have the two windows, just to give you an example. Do the align tool, right? Have the two windows selected. Then you're going to go choose the box itself. Now you're just positioning it to the center of the box. So you do X, Y, center, center. Press OK. What that did is it moved it nicely to the top on top of each other. Then we go back to the top view. And it just wants you to move it by eye just to give an illusion like that. Then separate them. One goes towards the left. The other one goes towards the right. It's all used just by eye. There's no actual numbers for now. It's just to see an idea. Then I grab the two windows again and I bring them back up again. If I go back in the clay mode, it should look something like this, where you have the two windows and the door. Is that clear? We place the actual house, guys. We have the things we did, perspective, home button to see it again. We have it. What's the next thing? We're going to make a new box again. We're going to go box again, auto grid. We're going to go make sure keyboard entry again. We're going to type in 91 for the length, 60 for the width, 2 for the height. Then once you have those three numbers, we press create. And it's going to put it back in the origin 0000.
How much it was? 91?
91, 62. Got the box. We go back to now more box. We're going to go do pyramid this time. We're going to create the box on top of the box we did before. So now we're going to go to our top view and build it on the new rectangle we just built, the bigger one. You go from one corner. Oops. My bad. Pyramid from the center, from here to here. Okay? So now we have something called pyramid 001. Now we're going to align them together. Go choose any random height. I don't care. So now it should look something like this. Oh, that looks nasty. Should look something like this. Now we have to align the bottom box with the pyramid on top. So what do we do again? We're going to go click on the base, hit the align tool, click the pyramid, and we're going to move it up to match the next one. So how do we align it now? We just click center, center, and we're going to align it with the, I think, Z position. Minimal. See how it drops it? Look at what we're doing here. We're just playing with it, and we saw that in this case we wanted to go all the way to the Z with the minimal target, so we brought it there. And if we do the center, to the maximum, which is the bottom. Do we see that? So again, I will repeat that for those of you who are still stuck a bit. I could go back. Right? I press undo. Now it's at the bottom. Again, the piece that you want to move to align, you click first. So I want this to go up. So I go here, align. Now I choose the pyramid, which is the roof, or I click on it. From here now, look what happens. If I go do max, oh no, not max. If I go do Z first, it goes right to the bottom. Max will go to the top of the triangle. Min will go to the bottom of it. Minimal goes to the top of it. Center of the line. Max goes right below it. Exactly what I wanted. Press apply. Okay. That is it. Yes, you're only moving up depending on the view you're working on. In this case, for me, it was just the Z because I'm going up only in one direction. So if the box is 91 by 60, my pyramid should be 91 by 60. So it goes exactly on there. We saw how I did that again. I'll undo it. Now before I did some random numbers. If I want them to be the same as my platform, what I do is I click on the platform. I go look. My width is 60. My length is 91. So then if I go on the pyramid, I go, my width is 60. My length is 91. My height I put at 30. Whatever. Or 40. I don't care. Okay? If I want, I can even move this a little bit more. I'll go from the top view. So just moving the origin back to 0, 0, place it exactly on top. Good. So now we have our roof, our two windows, and our door. What's the next step we got to do? We're going to add a chimney now. So again, but should we keep on going? Should we hit save in case something goes wrong? You should get the habit of hitting save. So file, save as. So the first time you do it, you should make a new folder. See how it makes it called scenes. Make a folder, call it C. What was it again? That's in the class shared. But I told you guys to name the folder. Rename this. I told you guys unit dash M1 is the folder name. Inside there, we're going to name the file house dash finished. Press save. So now we have it. If I go do increment saves now, and I hit file save, now it's going to say house finish 01. If I hit save again, 2. Those are the increment saves that I was talking about. It's like a backup each time I do something. So if you wanted to, if you guys redo this again, you could build the box first, hit save, then build the windows or the door, hit save, do the windows, and so forth. So you could see the steps that you worked along the way. But if you do too many saves, eventually it's going to start erasing the previous ones. Good. So now let's go back to adding the chimney to this beautiful house of ours. So how we do it? We're going to go back and do a create. This time we're going to use the cylinder option. We're going to go to the keyboard entry and we're going to type in the radius 5 and the height 60. Radius 5, height 60. Again, if I don't touch anything, it's going to bring it right to the origin in the middle. We're going to move it up so it sticks out through the roof a bit. Move. We're going to move it up like so. We're going to go to the top view. And we're going to move it to the side so it's not sticking out through the middle. Whatever view you guys want. I'm just going to do this way I can see it better. Yes. Yes. So once we've done the chimney, I'll come back to see the rest of you guys. What's the next step once we've created them? We have to do another cylinder on top. We make a cone. So we have this. Let's go press home so we can see how it looks. Now we're going to do a cone. Auto grid. Right? What's the keyboard entry? 7.5 to 13. Great. It brings it back to the bottom of the thing. Then we could just move it up, or we have to align it. It's faster just to align something. Align. We already have the bell, the top. Now we're going to click the cylinder. Do the same thing we did before. In this case, it's the Z. Right? We're going to go to the top. Center. Is it Z only? No, I have to do the X too. I think it's easier just to move it. So let's forget about the... we're just getting a guesstimate anyway, so we're just going to grab here, move it up. But no matter what, by the way, if you're moving the axe, it only moves in one direction. Actually, I could get the actual number by doing this. Right click here. I know that it's at negative... oh no.
Just make it a whole number, make it negative 30 and negative.
That's good though, it works. It looks pretty. That's all we need to do to make it look pretty. Okay, all that's left to do is select everything together. Like this. We're going to create, right? No. Create group and call it what? House. Okay, and press OK. And then finally do File, Save As, and get rid of the 00 and finish it off. Yes.